In the blistering heart of Rajasthan, where the land cracked like ancient parchment and the wind screamed through the ravines, there stood a fort unlike any other. Known to locals as Kaalgarh, it rose from the dust like a jagged fawn, its sandstone walls scorched by centuries of sun, blood, and sorrow. Generations of villagers dared not enter its cursed premises after dusk. They told tales of what echoed from its heart: footsteps with no form, gungroos dancing on gravel with no dancer, a woman's cry piercing the silence, children wailing as if lost in another world. Hooves thundering across stone as if spectral cavalry charged unseen, and the chilling clatter of swords in eternal combat. Kaalgarh wasn't just a ruin, it was a scar on time. The government denied all superstition, calling it a crumbling heritage site under restoration. But the night spoke its truth louder than any press release. And that truth called to a different breed of men, tantriks, practitioners of forbidden rites, seekers of shadow, wielders of mantras older than religion. For them, Kaalgarh was not a place to be feared. It was a challenge. A throne of dead kings, haunted queens, and fallen warriors, guarded by the hungry spirits of unfinished deaths. The promise of boundless power to any who dared conquer it. They came in trickles. Some arrived cloaked in saffron, some in black robes smeared with ash, some naked under the stars. Each came with ancient grimoires, bones of vultures and blood of goats. They chanted at dusk and entered the fort's gate with trembling resolve. Only a few ever returned. Those who did were hollow, silent, eyes wide and leaking tears that never stopped. They did not speak. Some screamed in the middle of the night. Some walked into rivers, never to surface again. And still, the fort called. In January 2023, a rare solar alignment stirred whispers in the tantric underworld. According to a lost scripture, Kaalgarh's spiritual threshold would thin during the eclipse. The veil between the world of the living and the dead would grow porous. And whoever could trap the wandering souls of the fort on that night would become a master of the netherworld. A secret society of tantriks, known as the Aghoracharya Viraat, based in Ujjain, planned the most ambitious ritual of the century. 13 tantriks, 13 Bindu yantras placed across the fort, a central Mahamantra to imprison every lingering entity within a vortex of cursed time. The night before the eclipse, they arrived in silence. Their leader, Aghoracharya Viraat, was rumored to have lived for 140 years. Kept alive by a pact with Mahakal himself. His skin was thin as silk, black as night, his eyes deep craters. He carried no luggage but a brass pot of human ash and a trident said to be forged with nails from battle-dead warriors. The villagers watched from afar. They lit no lamps. They locked their doors. Dogs howled. Birds vanished. The desert air grew still. By sundown, the Aghoracharya Viraat had taken positions inside the fort. Each corner, turret, and chamber bore yantras drawn in vermilion and kohl. The inner sanctum, the Darbar Hall, was transformed into a cosmic grid of power. Skulls lined the floor. A fire was lit in the center, burning blue. Aghoracharya began chanting. The walls responded. First came the sound of the gungroos, dainty and mournful. Then the soft sobbing of a child, rising to a wail. The tantriks steadied their breaths. One of them, the youngest, choked on his mantra. His eyes rolled back. He screamed as his body lifted into the air, slammed against a column, and fell twisted and lifeless. The others chanted louder. Outside, the eclipse darkened the world into a copper dusk. Shadows stretched. The temperature dropped. The fort came alive. From the old soldier barracks, the clashing of swords burst forth, clinks and cries, phantom warriors dueling endlessly. A headless rider burst through the ruined gates, his spectral horse breathing steam, his severed neck spurting fire. He galloped in circles around the fort's inner wall, eyes of the dead watching from arrow slits. Inside the sanctum, spirits took form, Not translucent mists, no. These were beings of light and shadow. A queen with a slit throat and jeweled anklets, her sari soaked in unseen blood. Twin brothers, warriors from a forgotten dynasty, skin peeled off their backs. A British officer with a musket melted into his hands. A Mughal commander missing half his skull. They emerged, surrounded the tantriks. Aghoracharya poured a vial of blood into the fire. It screamed. The spirits hissed and circled. The yantras on the floor burned, then exploded. One by one, the tantriks began to fall. A woman with scorched palms tore out a man's tongue. A child ghost rode on another tantrik's back, digging his fingers into the man's spine. Lightning struck the fire, and the fort trembled. Spirits froze. A great sucking wind began, drawing them toward the fire vortex. Walls cracked. Sand flew. The trident hovered. Viraat shouted the final mantra. The vortex exploded. A shockwave of silence flattened the desert for miles. When the dust settled, Kaalgarh was quiet. Not dead, not destroyed, just waiting. The fort remains to this day. No tantrik ever returned after that night. Viraat's body was never found. The villagers say the fort now sleeps, full, too full, with the trapped spirits of centuries. But on eclipse nights, if you walk near Kaalgarh's outer wall, you might hear a child giggling, a woman weeping, and the soft clang of sword on shield, as battles long lost continue in realms we cannot see. The fort watches, and remembers, and waits for the next fool who thinks they can own it.